For about a month, I have been telling people who have all the issues about what's happening in the world to scrub the whiteboard because they are not putting forth their best ideas in the thought process on that whiteboard. It's just, hey, why don't you go do something about it while I sit in this chair, sit in my car, sit in my bed, sit on my sofa, and just hope that other people do the work. That way I could just latch onto it and say, hey, we changed the world for the better. And no one's done anything. And it's just led to a lot of people sitting there performing online because they want to be perceived as a good person when they're just a lazy fuck performing for the camera. And I've hoped that the whiteboard just gets scrubbed every single day because all these ideas don't work and are not productive. They are destructive and downright performative and lazy. Well, there was one that I missed that I really didn't factor in or think of that circulated in January, but as of recently has now started to make the rounds. Blaming and shaming white people and hoping that they get off their ass and start to work.
I'm desperately asking white people to understand the gravity of what is happening right now and do something about it because you all are the only ones that can get us out of this shit. I don't want to hear about how hard it is. I don't want to hear that you don't think it's possible. I don't want to hear how difficult white people are. I don't want to hear about anything other than what you are going to do about it. I don't want to hear none of that. Because you can do something about that. But I need you to be creative, and I need you all as white people to uproot the deep-seated insecurity that you all have that is driving white supremacy. No people of color, no women, none of us would have civil rights if it was not for Black people. Could you have gotten this lesson earlier? Yes. Is this something we've been screaming about from the rooftops for years, decades? Yes. Yes, it is. This militarization of law enforcement in this country, absolutely. That is something we've been talking about. But at this point, it doesn't fucking matter anymore, okay? That's in the past. I need you all to get now. Your way, the way we get out of this is to find a way to make resisting this shit, coming together and organizing a way of life. White people have struggled with that. You all have to learn and learn quickly.
The funniest thing about this is that, again, this video was something that was uploaded in January, but as of the past 10 hours, it started to make the rounds. And when I factor in that this was in January, and then I factor in those two white people who were doing the work that any individual who's against ICE would want them to do, and they're dead, I have to think to myself, that would be a reason a lot of people would step back and try to recraft a structure in which they have an idea or a plan that doesn't end up with them either arrested or dead. And then at the same time of this gaining traction online, you have somebody walking up to apparently a warehouse and trying to set it on fire. And they just so happen to be white. So when we're thinking about all these ideas to combat the evilness and how the evil oligarchy white supremacists are able to use their white supremacist power to make the world a better place for the poor, disenfranchised POCs of the world, I'm struggling to understand why we think that these ideas are seemingly going to create the change. I've been saying it from jump. Your opposition is just ready to use any stupid thing you say or do against you. They're ready to just sit there and say, see, we need the Insurrection Act. Look at what these dumb motherfuckers are doing. They're evil. They're tyrannical. They want to see people die for the. They're waiting and they're ready to use every ammunition they got in order to effectively put forth whatever plan they have in their back pocket. And it seems like they've done a great job of doing so. And when you factor that in with these made up concepts of doing the work, you realize motherfuckers are not really doing anything. They're just hoping the next person does it so that they can, as I said at the beginning, latch on and say, hey, we finally have progress in the world, and it means so much that we're doing it. Even with the surge of ICE agents leaving Minnesota, I'm not giving the credit for that to people who sat on their asses hoping other motherfuckers start a riot, because you did nothing. You provided no substantial effort, and you sat on your ass hoping other motherfuckers give you a layer of entertainment. And even when you have people in Minnesota saying that, hey, we really don't trust that they're leaving in bulk or in a big surge.
I need you to stop believing this drawdown narrative in Minnesota. This video is not going to hit your FYP. They're not going to want you to see this video. This video is going to be hidden. So please like, share, do all the things. A friend of mine, someone in Minnesota today, had ICE pass by their home after legally observing. And when that happened, they drove by and did what they typically do, the little wave. And when they told me that, I know that's true because I've seen them do that. They've done that to me. This is Minnesota since 5 o'clock this morning. These are all sightings. And I need you to stop believing any kind of narrative that's being fed to you by the administration about a drawdown, about, hey, we're approaching things differently here, because that's not true. I mean, yeah, the Whipple building looks a little bit different and things like that, but things have not changed for the residents of Minnesota. And their little PR attempt to make you believe otherwise is not true. I know a lot of you don't fall for this stuff. I know a lot of you are critical thinkers, right? Unlike the other side. But I just had to make this video. Nothing's different there. Okay? Nothing. People are in as much need of help as they were before.
You will not get the credit because all you did was perform for the sake of being viewed as a good person. You motherfuckers hoped others shot people in the face, break into homes, kidnap families. You strapped dicks to your fucking foreheads. It was all performative for the sake of garnering the attention of being viewed as a hero, and it ultimately was not productive other than giving you a platform and being viewed as an activist when you were nothing more than an attention seeker desperate to be seen. There were people putting forth actual work in Minnesota and helping who they deemed needed that help. And then there were motherfuckers hoping for a little bit of entertainment. And to those people, a hearty fuck you, because you seemingly have forgotten the two people who put their lives on the line and died after doing so. It was nice to talk about for the moment, but as we trickled into Black History Month, changing the world requires planning, it requires togetherness, it requires everyone recognizing that something going on currently is not working and it needs to change for the better. Not, hey, white people, do it. And I don't want to hear that you're insecure, just go do it. Because the moment that they try and it ends up getting worse, who are you going to blame? The white people, your poor planning, the efforts necessary that are not being done by people who just want to perform? It's a layer upon layer upon layer that's not being recognized because you got motherfuckers just itching for the soundbite. And the soundbite, I promise you, will just be there for the moment because the everlasting effect will be greater than you just hoping white people get up off their white supremacist ass and do the work for you. So wipe that off the planning board too, because that plan also fucking sucks. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Mwah! Goodbye.